Thank you, Scott. I too want to second that. Thank you for coming out to our media day today. I was telling our team this is my 24th year at the Naval Academy, 14th year as a head coach, and I've never been more excited about a football season, a football team. A lot of it stems from our senior leadership and from our captains. You can see our young men up here, Kevin Brennan, Michael Cooper, Diego Fagot, and Chance Warren, who were voted captains by their teammates. Probably one of the highest honors when you play sports, that you're voted by your peers. And the thing that I love about these young men, they embody everything that we're looking for here at the Naval Academy. They're obviously really, really good football players, but they're good people. They're men of integrity and character. They represent our school very well. But I couldn't be more excited about this season. Our guys worked really hard. From January on, just been really, really impressed with them. The workouts that our head strength coach, Brian Fitzpatrick, put them through in January, tough, grueling things. Our fourth quarters, also another pretty tough, grueling deal that we do to test our mental fortitude and just to kind of see where we're at. And then we had spring practice, 15 practices going against each other. That was great for our development of our football program and for our football team. Every team's different, every year's different, so you need all of these steps to get your team prepared. And to see our guys go through our 15 practices was great. I'm the head coach, but I'm on the offensive side of the ball, and it's always great to go against our defense with Coach Newberry on the other side. Call him the mad scientist. The guy's got so many, blitzes and different things. Is as creative a defensive coordinator as there is in the country. And so our quarterbacks needed that. Our O-line, young O-line needed that. Our defensive guys needed that. But it was great to be able to go against them. We have 9 returning starters on defense, so we got a lot of guys coming back. Coach Newberry sharing with me some things. The last 3 games of last year, we were number 1 in the country in total defense and scoring defense, number 1 in pass defense. So played really, really well at the end of the season, and we have a lot of those guys back. So spring ball was great for the development of our team. For young quarterbacks who hadn't played, it was great for them. And then we had our, guys had their summer school, summer cruise, and then they were able to come back. And for 2 months, these guys have been getting after it. And that's really where your team starts to formulate, because that's when their leadership takes over. They're with the players. They're with their brothers, their teammates. And I was just impressed by a lot of things. We worked really, really hard. The great attention to detail. Our things in the hall were good, not much conduct and other stuff. So you're always grateful for that guys are keeping their nose clean and doing what they're supposed to and choosing to right. So I was encouraged by that. And I don't know if this is a good indicator, but probably a bad thing to say publicly. But one of the things I shared that I was excited about is one of our workouts, a sled workout, and Diego. Diego's the only guy there because it was for the big guys. While the young guys, our skilled guys, they run to the hill and do different things. The big guys push sleds, and that's a pretty tough workout and probably one of the toughest workouts that we have. And to see about 6 or 7 guys have to go into one of the dumpsters there to throw up. I told somebody I don't know if I've ever been more excited to see people throw up. You know what I mean? Because you're doing hard things. And in this game, this is a hard game. Sports are hard and life's hard. But in order to accomplish and do hard things, you have to do hard things. And obviously we didn't do those hard things last year, but we're doing all of those things this year. We had our first day of practice yesterday. I was really encouraged. It wasn't perfect, but I was encouraged for our first day of practice. And I'm excited. I'm really, really excited about this season and looking forward to this challenge, the toughest schedule that we've had in all of my years of being here. It's not even close. Normally Chet helps us out a little bit at the first game. We got one to kind of breathe a little bit, to kind of get ready to go a little bit. But playing Marshall, for all the reasons that we're playing them, which are awesome reasons, with Jack Lingo, former AD here, and his connection to Marshall. So it's a great opportunity, but they're a really good football team. picked to win their conference. Our league has gotten much better. I feel like our league, every time I look on, online, our league's getting another transfer. We've gotten a lot of guys. Our league has taken a lot of guys out of transfer portal and coming from Power 5 conferences. So we know how good our league is, and they only gotten better. And obviously our two main rivals have gotten much better too. And so that's a tough challenge. And then Notre Dame, who is the toughest schedule, the toughest team every year, but they were a Final Four team last year. And so we know that, though. We've talked about it as a program, and our guys are looking forward to this challenge. We're not running away from it. We're not shying away from it. The schedule, we've seen it for a long time. And I think it's been great motivation for our program, for our players, our coaches, everybody involved, to make sure that we're doing everything ready that we can to make sure that we're ready for this. And so looking forward to the season.
There's going to be a lot of questions going into the preseason about the offense. Can you get back on track? Can Navy execute the triple option the way we know it has in the past? I think I just looked in the stats. You ranked 124th nationally in scoring offense, 121st or something like that in total offense. That's not Navy football. Can you address talking about the offensive questions, and then if you guys could follow up?
Yeah, just people that don't know anything about sports just think you can just show up and do things. You just talk about any sport, and if you don't do anything, it's like, the Soup and I, we love to play tennis. I know I don't look like a tennis player, but we love to play tennis. If you didn't do something for a long time and try to go on a thing, you're not going to be the same. And so, our offense is so intricate in the triple option stuff. You can't just roll the ball out and start operating. And so we'll be back. I'm not worried about that. You look at all the records in scoring offense in this school, and it's been, during the time of Coach Jasper being the offensive coordinator. So the guy knows what he's doing. You look at, besides this year, we've averaged over 30 points a game, for a long time. You know what I mean? And so we've been a top offense for decades. So I'm not worried about that. I just knew we had to get back to do what we do. That's all I was concerned about. Last year we couldn't do any of this stuff, and we're doing it now. So, yeah, I'll just let other people think we won't be ready this year. We'll just go that way.
We will be, and we still need more. We still need time to prepare. We don't have a first game until September 4th. But I think previously it wasn't a matter of fact of Navy not being Navy. It was purpose and drive, and going through these summer workouts, going through 4 quarters, going through off season. Guys have that fire in their eyes. Guys have that purpose, and guys have that 1-2.
Chance?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what Coach said was really important. Our offense is very intricate. It takes a lot of details. When you don't have a spring ball, you don't have summer workouts, you can't really build that timing and trust with young quarterbacks or any quarterback in general. So just having those 15 practices this spring and having the time to go out in our free time this summer and work on stuff and grind the little details was really been key for us and stepping in the right direction. Like you said, we got to get back to Navy football. Those rankings aren't us. We're not proud to have our name on that, and we'll be sure to handle business every Saturday night.
Go Ward Carroll, then Joe Miller.
Yeah, hi, Ward Carroll, Sing Second Sports. This is for you, Coach, and also for Diego. In 2019, the Newberry very aggressive defense was very effective out of the gate, less so last year. Are they making any adjustments, or what would you attribute that, and what are you going to do about it this year to get back to where you were in 2019?
And again, I keep saying this over and over, and I don't like looking back to last year because it's a new year and you feel like, you're excuse maker when you talk about this, but you guys are asking me the question. You know what I mean? I'd rather say we're pressing forward to 2021. So, when you answer these kind of questions, you make it seem like we're excuse making, but you're asking it. So we didn't practice last year. I don't know how clearer to say it. You know what I mean? We missed 15 practices. And then when we came back, when we couldn't do things, it was totally different from other schools. We were in our rooms. And you can come out for a little bit to, have physical workout for an hour. But you couldn't be with anybody else. You had to be with your roommates. So it wasn't like guys could come out and throw the football, and we couldn't come and work out. We were in a pandemic last year. Obviously we're still in it. And so last year we couldn't do those things. And then the way we practiced was totally on me. And so we came out, I had many discussions with our medical people and all the experts, and nobody can answer some of the questions that I had. And so I felt like being in charge of our program, all these young men, I know the parents, and I feel like I got to take care of them. And so my thing is, hey, I was going to make sure that we erred on the side of caution. And so I wouldn't call what we did practice. When we finally came back, we were practicing with the shield in front of we were practicing social distance football. That doesn't work in football. This isn't a social distance game. This is the most physical game that there is. And so we'll be back. A lot of those things that happened, we had young guys on defense. Like I said, we were not prepared. But like I said, we were in a pandemic last year. But all of my concerns aren't last year. All of my concerns have been from January to now. And everything that I've seen, I've been doing this a long time. I mean, I'm not just a coach that just rode out the door. You know what I mean? I know exactly what we're doing. Everything I see, I like.
Diego?
Yeah, and for me, just to go off what Coach was saying, I felt like the first half of the season was our spring ball, was our summer workouts, was our camp, and you really saw kind of a change. It was kind of like a tale of two cities or a tale of two halves in a way. In the fact that in the first half of the season, like I was talking about, I mean, to be honest, we didn't play Navy football at all. We didn't play well we ran up 55 points against us on the first game. And so I would just say, in the second half, like Coach said, we played really, really good defense. And you can just see that initial part of the season, we didn't do well because of what Coach was just saying. And like you said, like obviously we're not trying to make excuses, but I mean, it is what it is. And at this point and at this stage in life, we're just looking forward. Like we're not looking to 2020 anymore. It's all about 2021. And so, we learned from 2020, but we're just going to keep pressing forward, and we're going to worry about the practice this afternoon, meetings this evening, stuff like that. So,
Go Joe Miller and then John Schofield.
Joe Miller, Navy Radio Network. This one's for Coach. Coach, what's your timeline on making a decision for the quarterback position? Do you have a plan that you want to see something by a certain date to make a decision on starting? And philosophy-wise, are you against having two guys in there? Do you want to settle on a guy and have that as your number one guy headed into the first game?
We've always felt good about having two guys, ready to go. In years past, guys got hurt. I mean, I think of the year of Will. You know what I mean? And just Will came in and played awesome, and we thought we had Tongo, and Tongo got hurt in the first game, and we're like, oh no, and Will wins, 9 games. You know what I mean? And he gets hurt in the conference championship game, but so it's what we do on offense. You need more than one quarterback. Sometimes guys can make it through, but the nature of that position and what they go through. The timeline for us is when the guy distinguishes himself, when it becomes clear cut. I was really impressed with both of them this spring, and what they did this summer, seeing how they where they're at. And we just kind of go through camp and let it compete. Competition is probably one of the greatest indicators of it will separate things and it's a clear test. And so when you have pure competition, the cream always rises to the top. People start to separate themselves. And a lot of it goes, again, when we're going against our defense. Because you can be in Skelly where, nobody's rushing the quarterback and some other drills where there's no pressure. But when we go against our defense and some of our scrimmages, that's when I like to see things. Then I can see who can operate under pressure. It's probably the most vocal that I am in practice during scrimmages because I want to get after those guys because I want to see how they handle the heat, if they can take it. And if they get flustered and they get, and if I look, they look a little haywire a little bit, I mean, you're going to have a hard time operating in front of 35,000 fans or at South Bend where there's 85,000 fans. The mental fortitude that it takes to be a quarterback is extreme, and the guys that have done well here in the past have been really strong mentally. So we'll just let it unfold, Joe, and I don't have a time frame. Obviously, the earlier the better because it allows you to get your offense in sync with the number one starter, but I'm not going to force the issue either. We'll just let it play out.
Go John Schofield and Diane Roberts.
All right, John Schofield of 6 Second Sports. I'll get Kevin involved. Kevin, if you can walk me through how special it is for you to be a three-striper, to be one of the captains, And then if you can walk through a little bit, how have the plebes on the defensive side come out of plebe summer? And what does that mean to you to be part of the interface for them coming out of plebe summer and being one of their leaders on the defensive side of the ball? And finally, who was that senior when you were coming out of plebe summer? They kind of walked you through it and helped you acclimate.
Yeah, so I'll start with the first part of the question. It's a huge honor to be voted captain. Like what Coach was saying, at the academy, just being a leader, kind of amongst leaders. Everyone at the academy is a leader, especially on our football team. So to be seen by the younger guys, my classmates in the senior class, as one of those leaders, it's a huge deal to me. It's a huge honor. Honestly, probably one of the biggest honors of my entire life, and I'll definitely keep it with me for the rest of my life. Going to the plebes, coming out of plebe summer. They come out fired up, ready to compete. It's awesome. Yesterday you saw, I think for a lot of them, like myself, when I was coming out of plebe summer, it's a bit of a shell shock, just your first college practice like it would be. But the fact they're coming out of plebe summer, they might, they haven't made the same cuts or the same conditioning stuff that they would normally do at a normal college campus. But I think just bringing them along, even just learning their name, it goes a long way. And, the brotherhood's something that we care a lot about, and it starts with love. And so showing them that love so that they can really feel welcomed in the brotherhood is big, especially during camp when it's kind of a tough time. And then the third part of the question, just that interface for me. When I was a freshman, definitely Sean Williams, just being in my position group. He was a really good captain, a really good ball player. I think he was a 3-year starter. So kind of just trying to emulate what he does. He was a really high-effort guy, paid a lot of attention to detail, especially in the film room too. So just trying to, kind of mirror what he does during practice. Even I didn't play at all freshman year, but just seeing what he did in the film room, in meetings, off the field, on the field, he was a big role model for me. Thank you.
Go Diane Roberts and then Keith Mills.
Hi, guys. Diane Roberts, Behind the Lines Academy Football Report. I'll start the question with Coach and then any of the players who want to answer, and I hope at least one of you do. You have said you're looking forward, you're not looking back. Things are going to be more normal this year, but COVID is still here. I've heard you speak about how proud you are that your program has 100% vaccination, but COVID is still probably going to affect the league, the season. I'm wondering how you have talked about that and what kind of things you anticipate happening and how you're going to have to push through that.
Well, I think a big part of us, where we're at right now is all you can do is control what you can control. And so all of us in our program, we're vaccinated, and so we're it's the best way we know to make sure that we can mitigate any of the other things that are going on, all the Delta variant or any of that stuff. All we can do is what we can do. And, guys have made the decision, people in our program, people at the academy said they've all made a decision. So I feel good. I feel good that we've done everything within our power to make sure that we're safe. I don't know what other programs do. We can't control them, but I just feel like we've done everything in our power to make sure that, that we're safe. I don't know any other team that's at where we're at, but I'm grateful where we're at.
That's what I'm getting at, actually. I know everything is good with your program. You're good with that. I'm wondering how you feel like you're going to have to, navigate that through the season.
Last year, like I said, the way we practice, try to navigate it. But, again, when you play football, it's a contact sport. And so the league has talked about it. So, Mr. Gladchuck's been in all of those meetings with the different ADs, and they know, hey, if you can't play, you forfeit the game. There's no postponing it like we did last year and trying to get a new date. If you can't make your date, it's out. It's over. There's no replaying of it. And so that's why we've taken these also extreme cautions to make sure, first and foremost, that people are safe. But second of all, we feel like we've done everything within our power to make sure that that's not us and that we're going to be able to fulfill all of our games, all the stuff that's happening here at the stadium, Chet and Bill and all the people, involved at the academy, and we'll make sure all of those safety precautions will be in place. But as far as those on the field and who our players will be around, and we're good. I don't know anybody else have anything.
Go ahead, Coop.
Sorry about that. From like a player point of view, when it comes to navigating the season, I think we just have to understand that things happen in life. when games get canceled or proposed, hopefully they don't, but if they do, we can't lose sight of what we're trying to do. We can't lose sight of our team goals, and we can't lose sight of our tenets. Our 4 tenets are love, selflessness, discipline, and toughness. We have to love each other enough to choose the right, is our saying. We have to be selfless enough to not put ourselves in compromising situations. We have to be disciplined enough to wear a mask inside and where we're supposed to be doing that to mitigate all those possible reasons for there to be a problem in the season. And I just know that, obviously we're not looking back in the past, but when we do lose purpose, when we do lose sight of what we're trying to do, we are not Navy football. So from a player point of view, that's kind of how I feel like we mitigate and navigate through the season this year in this 2021 season.
You should have asked him first. That was way better. It's a way better answer than my answer.
We'll go Keith Mills and then Phil Bergman.
Yeah, John kind of stole my thunder a little bit with the question to Kevin about what it means to be a captain. So I'll ask the other 3 guys and phrase it this way. When Malcolm was here a couple of years ago, Malcolm Perry, right before the Army game, I asked him what it meant to be a captain his senior year, and he used the word daunting. It was really daunting, a lot of responsibility. Take it the next step if you can. What did you guys learn from maybe some of the guys before you were captains? And what does it mean for you to follow so many unbelievably talented student athletes here at Navy to be a captain of the football team?
Yeah, for me, like you just brought up Malcolm. Malcolm was a guy that I really looked up to, playing my sophomore year with him. Just kind of see how he led by example. As you guys probably know, and these 4 guys have told you, I'm the talker of the group. I'm the guy that brings the energy, and just seeing how he led by example. Not a lot of talking, just action. That really kind of molded me to where I am today. And being up here on the stage with these 3 guys is unbelievable. It's a dream come true. When you're a little kid, you think about being a guy that somebody looks up to, and now we have 150 plus guys that look up to us and are looking to us for answers when they don't have them. So it's an honor. It's a big responsibility, and it's something that we look forward to carrying throughout the season. I wouldn't want to be with any other 3 guys up here. And I can't imagine, being at any other school right now.
I think for me, just one of the things that I've really taken away from the 3 years of just seeing 3 different sets of captains is don't get tired of doing good, right? And so it's actually a Bible verse in the fact that, like, don't grow weary of, choosing the right, doing good. And so as a captain, you're constantly, correcting guys, making sure people are squared away, like, telling so-and-so to tuck their shirt in, whatever it may be. And to be honest, like, it gets tiring after a while. I feel like almost like I'm a coach in a way, in the fact that I'm always the one correcting people. But, in order to win, in order to be, that team that we want to become, it's like almost like we have to do that. And not just me, but also all the seniors, all the guys in charge, and just being able to distribute that throughout the team and just kind of creating a culture of accountability has been one of those challenges that, at least for me, I've been trying to work through and kind of fight, So.
Me personally, it's an honor, and I feel blessed to be among these guys and to honestly be among many of the leaders at the academy. I wouldn't use the word daunting. I would say it's an experience. I think good or bad, an experience helps you grow, and being in this position and looking over and working and grinding with 160-plus guys is something that I think anybody would be proud of and excited to do. Often, our kind of mantra is every senior in the team is a team captain, and every person on the team is a leader. So when it comes to maybe having to correct or upholding the standard is a better way to say it, we mitigate that kind of stress or that kind of daunting task by kind of put on everybody's shoulders. If you hear from a young guy to a senior and the senior takes it well, then the sophomore sees the senior takes it well. So when he's got on by a senior, he takes it well. And I feel like that kind of spreads positive juju throughout the whole team. And that's how I view it. But it's exciting. I'm blessed to be with these 4 guys. I would say I'm more of like, I'm not a talker, but I do talk interpersonally with a lot of people in the team. And I look a lot towards Sean Williams. He kind of showed me that, you can do good in the halls, be a good football player, follow the rules, and also be a cool guy. And that's kind of what I try to emulate and what I role model.
We got Phil Bergman and then Dave Preston.
Phil Bergman, Navy Sports, NavySports.com. For any of the captains, what excites you the most about the team this upcoming season?
Take it to start. I think just the fact that we've been able to build so much team chemistry this year. It's so much different from last year, and the fact that we can have these team events, just sit at a dinner table together and eat together. I think that we've really grown a lot together, and I think we saw, at least defensively, it was really exciting just going on the field with myself and those 10 other guys, just doing what we came here to do, and that's shut people down on defense, and then win football games. So I'm really excited. This team has formed to a really close team so far, and we're going to keep forming together. So I'm just excited to win football games this year.
Anyone else?
Yeah, for me, I think it's the way that we've worked this summer. We were doing things this summer, week 1, that we weren't doing our sophomore year until like week 4 or 5 in terms of conditioning and the weights we were lifting in the weight room. And to see how we were expanding and growing in that aspect, and nobody was complaining, nobody was, missing out on workouts, nobody was, walking around with their head down. Just to see how we've grown and moved in the right direction has been really, exciting for me to see. It's easy to get caught up in, man, today's going to be a bad day. We got this many sprints, we got this many lifts, this many squats, whatever the case may be. And we didn't hear that. There was very minimal of that, and if it was said, it was corrected immediately. So just to have that accountability that we talked about, and guys excited to be back in the locker room, back with the team, I think it's really good for this season.
Dave Preston and then John Schofield.
Dave Preston, WTOP Radio in Washington. This one is for Kevin and Diego. You guys were around in 2019 when the defense was revamped, and looking at that as kind of a base year, what made that defense so special, and where do you guys look to make strides from that? Like maybe what new wrinkles, what subtleties have been added this year?
But before you answer, don't add our adjustments. Talk about we're not telling anybody what we're doing.
Yeah, I think the 2019 team was just really close, like Kevin was talking about. I think just having that unity, having that closeness is really key, especially on defense. Because when you trust that guy that's right next to you to do his job, and he's going to trust me to do my job, is just really, really fundamental, especially on the defense. In the 2020 year, we didn't have that opportunity to really get to know each other, to really get to create a bond, have that trust. And so just like Kevin was saying, for this upcoming year, I'm really excited to see how far we can really go as a defense. And schematically, I mean, Coach Newberry was only able to put in, probably, maybe half of the defensive plays that we now have. But now, in the 2021 season, we've been able to just continue to build off of the base or the foundation of what we did in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, 2019 was a great year, obviously, and every single year our defense is built on effort, attitude, and toughness. That's our little acronym, EAT. And then on top of that, we have to execute as well. So I think in 2019, one of the biggest differences was an execution that maybe we didn't have last year. But just moving forward, I think in 2019 we had a bunch of really selfless guys. In 2022, but when we have selfless guys on the team together, we were talking about it as captains last night in one of our Kool-Aids, and when we have really selfless guys, no one's working for themselves. So when we're tired on the field, when something bad happens, when maybe we give up a big play, it really doesn't matter. We keep moving forward. We keep moving forward for our brothers. So in this 2021 season, we're really going to be looking for that, getting those right guys on the field to play for each other, and then it all just comes down to execution along with that EAT factor.
Got John Schofield and Bill Wagner.
All right, John Schofield again from Sing Second Sports. Coach Niumat, I feel like every time we talk about how so much has changed over the summer. This summer was no different. Name, image, and likeness stuff in college football or in college sports. The kind of mega merger of Texas and Oklahoma and the SEC. In all of your years, in this game, what have those changes, or how have those changes kind of informed you about what the future of college sports is, and what does it do to kind of reinforce your belief in being at a service academy? Not a lot of NIL issues here, just guys going into the fleet and Marine Corps serving their country. your evaluation of what happened this summer.
Well, obviously, it's a lot of transformation. Probably the events in this offseason are as big as that I can remember. You know, the college football playoffs, the announcement of that, expanding to 12 teams, the transfer portal in the last couple of years, name, image, and likeness has been huge also. And then with Oklahoma and Texas, things have changed. But like you said, you know, here at the Naval Academy, you have great young men. I wish you could have heard their Kool-Aid last night, which is it's a term for motivational speech that we normally do at all of our meetings, all of our team meetings. We have a Kool-Aid. Our staff meetings will always do it. I always tell our coaches, if you start off a meeting without a Kool-Aid, it's a bad meeting. If you just come, if our kids come straight from class and you start straight into X's and O's, it's a bad meeting. Start off, see how they're doing, how's class going, give them some Kool-Aid. But our guys did some Kool-Aids last night. It just made you realize how special it is to be, you know, coaching here at the Naval Academy. I mean, their motivational speech had last night was awesome. Our coaching staff was talking about this morning. But it just makes you realize you're grateful to be at a place like this, that you coach young men of character like this. And so, you know, some of the name, image, and likeness obviously doesn't affect us. But I'm excited, you know, actually Chad and I have been talking about it a lot. I'm excited when they talked about the 12-team expansion. You know, because originally, now I'm not sure where it's going to evolve, but they talked about the top 6 conference champions, you know, got a chance to go to the playoffs. And that's been the winner of our league. And then I started to think about it. I remember when it came on, I was in my bed, and it came on, I was telling my wife about it. Are you looking at that? She goes, what? You know, she was reading a thing on her Kindle or whatever. And I was like, look at that. There's an expansion. Oh, that's great, honey. He goes, no, look at that. There's 12, going through the 6 teams, and who can be, that could be us. And she's like, what? And that could be us. And for somebody that's been here almost half his life, you know, I've been here almost a quarter of a century, been here a long time, to be at a school that, you know, these guys take real courses, a tough academic course, but a chance to play in the national playoffs, I mean, that's awesome. And it's not far-fetched. I mean, in Keenan's year in 2015, we lost to Houston, and we, you know, where we were going to be in it. Will's year, we lost here in the championship game to Temple. And in 2019, you know, we lose, you know, all these guys on the team, we lose a tough game to Memphis on the road that night. If you win that game, we're going. And the winner of our league has represented the group of 5 in the New Year's Day Bowl. And so you're going to be the guy that goes. And so to me, that's super exciting. You know, it just, you know, that's in this profession, you're always trying to get better. You're always trying to compete. And so there's some great things happening. But for me to think about a program, if it continues this way, again, I don't know what's going to happen now, if that will change because of where Oklahoma and Texas is doing. But if it continues, I'm excited. The future's bright. You know, but we'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot of changes, John.
So we've got Wags, and then we got the Academy Football Report behind Wags, and then we got Sheehan, next 3.
2 quick questions. Number 1, I know that the quarterbacks were live during spring ball. Do you feel like you want to keep them live going into this preseason camp?
No, it's too close, Wags. I mean, that's the first time we went live with the quarterbacks in a long time. But I want to see. I want to see who could take a hit, who could make somebody miss. I want to see people's toughness. And there's only way you can see it, you got to get hit in the mouth. You know, that's the only way. And so it's too close. I'd like to do it again, but we're too close to the season. And so we won't live. Now, we'll thud those guys up all the time. They run the ball inside, these guys will thud them up. We just won't take them to the ground, but they'll get whacked. And, you know, if they run inside, we just won't tackle them to the ground.
And then the second question, I was wondering where you all were, you and Kevin, for the American Athletic Conference Media Day, and then I realized you're in the beautiful theater in the new Physical Mission Center. And you were talking about your Kool-Aids. I was guessing that maybe you got together in that nice theater. So are you utilizing that beautiful new facility for football?
Every day. Every day we're using it. You're right. I had it on the screen. You know, I had a big surround sound screen there, and it's been awesome. You know, I was just joking about these guys could talk about our new nutrition center. I mean, it's like GNC. I mean, it's like you come in there, there's everything in there. And I was talking to some of the older players, like, man, coach, we've come a long ways. You know what I mean? It's just these guys, you know, they're getting to reap the rewards of a lot of hard work of guys that come before, also them. But Scott Maher and Jennifer in our nutrition center, they're doing some great things. But Terwilliger has been great for us to meet. Our linebackers are able to meet in a bigger meeting room. You know, different guys can meet in there. This past summer in June, just real quick, it was probably the busiest it's ever been in recruiting in all my years of coaching, because they just opened the gate, so to speak. You know, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of the shopping day.
Black Friday.
Black Friday. You know what I mean? The doors opened and they came running through, you know what I mean? It just, so, you know, these kids haven't been to any campuses, so June was, they're all here. And so they're able to come to this new facility and, you know, we've gotten so many commitments. It's been awesome. I'm grateful that these guys have been able to enjoy it because they've worked hard. You know, as seniors, they've been able to work hard and to see some of the transformation in the program. I'm grateful that they're able to enjoy some of those, the fruits of their labors.
Academy Football Report, then Sheehan.
Chris Carino, the Academy Football Report. Coach, in one of your pressers this past spring, you mentioned that your team going into 2019 had a bad taste from 2018. And you kind of equated last season to that same type of feeling. But going into 19, did you think you'd drop an 11th spot in the win column?
Yeah. I mean, I feel good about that team. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I can't do many other things, but I know how to assemble a football team and put them together. And I mean, I feel like that's the only thing I know how to do.
So should there be that expectation then this year?
Oh, yeah. This is going to be a good football team. I feel really, really good about the team. And to me, there are two totally different situations, too. I mean, part of, again, what happened last year is the preparation stuff. But all the signs point to great things. And I know the players, I always share a stupid analogy with them that I think they look at like, what does that mean? But, I always talk about just the storm or, I grew up in Hawaii. We go and you look at the clouds and stuff. It's always, the sky is always blue. But you can tell by the clouds and different things, the wind, when the waves are up and when different things are coming. It's just, the weather indications are very clear in Hawaii. When things are happening, it happens quickly. And so you can kind of tell when things are going to be good. That's how I feel with this team. All the indications, the things that I've seen, the things that I've known in my career that produces good teams. This team has done so far. Now, with that said, we're still in August. And so our motivation, my discussion to our team the other night in our first team meeting, what I've seen from January to August, I love. But it's not over. What are we going to do in August? What are we going to do in August as a football program? That's coaches included. What are we going to do to separate ourselves from 130 other teams? I always see where they rank us. They do that every year, which is fine. It's great motivation for our football program. But I don't really care what people think, where we're going to be at, where we're going to rank. But we'll be ready September 4th. That I can guarantee you.
Sheehan and then Diane. Oh, okay, Sheehan and Keith.
Great. Hi, guys. Sheehan Sandwick-Burge for CBS Sports Network. So great to see you guys in person this year. Excited to be back. But to coach and the players, just over the last 9 months or so, is there anyone, we know your names, and any football player fans know your guys' names, but any backups or somebody that flew under the radar that you think's really improved that you're excited about coming into the season?
Yeah, but you guys, I've been talking too much. You guys been
Yeah, so for me, I kind of joke around and say he's my son, but his name's Will Harbor. He's a rising sophomore. I think he won the best or most improved player during spring ball. I'm really excited to see what he can do this year. I know that he's has a chance to start at will linebacker, so he might be playing next to me. And also in that same regard, Johnny Hodges got his first start against Army last year. So him and Will and even Tama Tuateli are kind of battling for that position. And, I'm just excited for those three guys.
Go ahead, Chance.
Yeah, for me, in my position group, Daniel Jones, he's from Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Diego, but Daniel Jones is a really young player who can really go. something that our group needs is a speedster, and that's what he is. He can get the ball, out on the perimeter and make things happen with his legs, with his speed. So, it's really good to be working with him at slot back, kind of showing him the ropes and getting into the fine details. So that's where he needs to grow right now, is just the small things. But he's heading in the right direction. He's going to have a big year this year. Really looking forward to watching Daniel make plays this year.
There's a lot of guys over this offseason and the spring that really show signs of being great and showing out this season. Personally, Kamari Williams and Jalen Barger, receivers in my group, know how to work. I feel like these are two guys that get it, that are bought in, that are all in. Also, Condre Grace, he's a corner, really, really good athlete. I feel like he's also bought in. I feel like he gets in. I feel like he has a chance to do some really good things this season.
Yeah, I have two guys that come to mind along with all these other players. That's Colin O'Connor's one. He's in the safety room. He had a really good spring ball. And then all summer, he's worked really hard. He's a local guy. He went to Gonzaga High School. But he, in great shape. He's a long safety. I think he's going to be a really good player for us. And then Jacob Busick's on the D-line. He had a really good spring ball, too. The kid really knows how to work. So you guys can look for him to make some plays this year.
I won't have anybody, but I'm just grateful, Shane, that Scott finally called you. You only raised your hand 10 times. It's like, I was going.
Sorry, Sheehan. Keith?
Yeah, Keith Mills from WPAL and Navy Ravens Radio. This is for all four players. Coach talked about the perk of the national championship playoff possibility. But what about the guys you're watching in the NFL right now? Cam Kinley down at Tampa. Sean Williams this week, you guys talked about Sean getting invited to New England's tryout, or New England's training camp. And, of course, Malcolm with the Dolphins. How cool is that for you guys to see? Just to be a part of a program now that not only is putting out so many great leaders in the Marine Corps and the Navy, but also in the NFL.
Sorry.
Take your pick.
Yeah, so for me, I'm still really close with Micah Thomas. He was number 44, I think, graduate in 18. But, I was texting Mike and Thomas back and forth, and I was like, man, look at Sean, like he's getting another opportunity. And what he said was, the kid doesn't give up. And it just, really hit me. I was like, man, Sean graduated almost 2-3 years ago, and he's still working, he's still grinding. He's now finally getting that opportunity to play at the next level. And, obviously it's not going to be perfect. I don't know if he's going to make the team or not, but just having that opportunity to get there just really hit me, just to continue grinding, continue working, and just, do the best that I can.
Yeah, just to talk about Sean Williams still, he graduated 2-3 years ago now, and he's obviously been working this whole time. I've kind of followed him pretty closely just through social media and stuff like that, and he's really had this dream in his mind still of playing in the league, and it's really cool. Just you think of the service academies and stuff, and a lot of people talk about how all these guys, it's awesome, they're going to serve our country, and it's what we all came here to do. But I think before I had the dream of going and serving others for our country, I had the dream of playing professional football, just like I'm sure every child does that plays football. So I think it's really cool just to see these guys, Malcolm and Cam and Sean, get the opportunity to do that, just to pursue that dream and still fulfill their requirements.
Joe Cardona.
Joe Cardona's
Absolutely. Like I mentioned earlier, Malcolm and I are really close friends. I just talked to him before media day, just talking about random stuff. And, he was up here the other weekend and we were working out together, running routes, talking about the Dolphins, talking about our senior season coming up, kind of how he was as a leader and stuff like that. So it's just awesome to see, guys that were in these same shoes that we're wearing right now, in these same seats, who came here with the same purpose as we did, to be great leaders on and off the field, get the chance, to play at the next level. And like Kevin said, that's the goal, when you're a little kid throwing the football with your dad in the backyard, is to make it to the highest level. And so just to see that people in our shoes have the opportunity is amazing. Just to share that with the younger guys, hey, if you put your head, in the books, you put your feet, your cleats on the field and grind it out, you'll have a shot.
Just repeating what everybody else said, it's the goal for a lot of people, and we all come here for different reasons. And seeing guys at our school get that opportunity and be in those places motivates our guys in multiple different ways and give guys that fire that they need sometimes to make it through, or even, play in those hard games, give it all they got on 4 quarters for their brothers and for the future and for the brotherhood that we talk about all the time. So, and then also Sean Williams. Sean Williams is a guy I talk to often. Last time I called him, he was up off of his ship, but he was still training and working out for that chance, for the opportunity. And you can obviously see he has affected multiple of us up here before he even got that chance. So it just goes to test the kind of character he has.
Got Dave Preston and then Bill Wagner.
Coach, I know you're all focused on Marshall and, first and foremost, but the Air Force Academy comes to Annapolis on the anniversary of 9/11. What does it mean playing that game that day? And I know the players are, obviously, too young to have been around for 9/11, but what does it mean to be taking the field against the Air Force Academy that afternoon?
So it's a great honor, for us, our program, our schools. It's very special. Like you said, just what it means to our country, to remember those that, died on that tragic day, and that, all the things that transpired after that, the conflicts that occurred from that event, and those that, paid the ultimate sacrifice after that. But I think it's a great honor. It's a great honor for our school to be involved. I'm sure it's the same thing for the Air Force. And, we're excited to play them, just the football part of it. But because of the occasion and all that, it just adds more to it.
It just being from New Jersey, I'm about a 20-minute train ride outside of New York. I was born in 1999, so I wasn't very old to remember it. But I've, the long-lasting effects that it has on a lot of my friends back home that they're still affected today from parents' loss and things like that. It's definitely going to be a big honor. There are guys on the team too that were affected by it. A lot of guys from New York. So it's definitely going to be a big honor to play Air Force on that day and just remember our heroes.
Yeah, I mean, any Army-Navy game or Navy-Air Force game is huge. It's an honor to run out in that stadium, slam packed to the brim with, people who have served our country and who will continue to serve our country. Adding, the 9/11 on top of that is only going to heighten that experience for us, only going to make it that much more cherishable and memorable. I think the important thing for us is to remember why we're out there, kind of what we're doing. We're going against Air Force. We're going to battle them, for all 60 minutes. But at the end of the day, we're going to come together once we all graduate and serve this country and defend it the best we can. So I think that's important for us to keep in our hearts. But yeah, we're excited. It's only going to make that experience that much better.
Wags.
This is a little out of the ordinary, but I'd like to ask Mr. Gladchuck a question, if possible.
Sure.
Well, the question I had, Chet, was can you talk a little bit about the transition back to having fans at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium for home games?
Uncertainty is the bane of any high-level organization. When you take a look at what we've been through, kind of summarizing what Kenny and the guys have said, that was the biggest factor, was the uncertainty of last year. When you've got an organization like this that needs to be as detailed on the field and off the field, and you can't address those details because you don't know what's coming next, the next week, the next day, it just throws everything out of kilter. What I feel really good about, for starters, to lead into your question, is that if you've seen and you've been around and you witness the detail that we're back into right now, the meticulous detail we're into, which is a winning formula, certainly as it relates to Division I football, you've got to feel as good as these guys do up here about going into this season. Watching them and observing January and February and March without disruption, the workouts, the dedication, the leadership that you see here has been inspiring for an athletic director. I can tell you to get that great feeling that we're back on track. We really are back on track. We're ready to give it our best shot. Diane asked a question a couple of moments ago about, this whole COVID situation. That still leads us to a, consideration in terms of what if, but we've been through it. I think it's worst case last year. We've seen the worst that can come at us. I mean, they shut down the economy. Do we get to that again? I don't know. I mean, it remains to be seen. But I think that it's somewhere between, the devastation of last year and feeling pretty good about going into this season. The control of the virus to some degree as of today, the vaccination of everyone in our program. Can't be part of the program unless you're vaccinated. Take a look at today. You're all wearing masks. The team is not on the field, with the fans. I guess we could have, but we decided why not just take that extra step of precaution. I walked into the team meeting yesterday or the day before, and I mean, everyone in that room, in that theater, was masked. Everyone. And they're all vaccinated. So we're doing everything we can on our end to control the environment so we can be prepared to take the field against Marshall and keep it going. I'm really excited and encouraged about what's coming down. It starts with watching the games last night. You watch the Red Sox, or you watch Phillies, you watch the Nationals, and there are people. They're in the stands, and they're enjoying themselves. Place looks full. So as of today, we're heading in the right direction. Wags, specifically, it's as good a year right now as we've ever had. And I mean that. I mean, we lost last season, for sure, for all the reasons you know so well. And we weren't certain what was going to happen going into this year. But tickets, 95% renewal rate in all of our season tickets. All in. Suites are all gone. Parking is all gone. Blue and gold, best levels of contribution in history. Our margin of excellence funding, just off a campaign, best it's been. So it's an incredible rebound in terms of looking forward going into this season. And I couldn't be more excited about it. As I mentioned, these guys have got the laser beam on. They get it. Kenny, 24 years, and all the years as a head coach, he knows what it takes. And as an athletic director, on the field, went to practice yesterday, I told Kenny, I said, wow, looks like mid-season form. I mean, we're back, in the ticket office and Eric Ruden's operation, which has to do with external relations. We're back. So it's a good news story. It's as good as it can be. Again, the variant is a little bit of a question mark, but is it, as I stand here today, tell you what, expect to win. Okay? That help?
Do you know, is there any restrictions on how many fans can attend?
No, nothing right now. I was thinking, Soup and I were talking a moment ago, all we can do is just speculate, what if? I mean, you could go to Growls to get a gallon of milk and come out with a variant, I guess, so you don't really know what's going to happen. But hopeful that maybe a worst case might be masks, and then because there's so many people that are vaccinated now, we seem to be close to turning that corner. They're talking boosters and things, but I'm not a medical guy. I just kind of read the tea leaves as you do. But all of our staff is going to be masked. All of our concessions will be masked. We'll take whatever precautions we need. You can't get on the field unless you're vaccinated. So all of that will be in place. But again, hey, one day at a time. We'll see how it goes. But we're ready. I mean, after last year, how could you not be ready? You've seen as bad as it could get. And right now it's leaning much more towards a good news story. But Navy fans are ready. Navy football's ready to roll. Okay? That help?
Go ahead, Scott, you go first.
Yeah, Scott Wyckoff with the Navy Radio Network and WBAL Radio. Coach, being out at practice yesterday, and it's something you've talked about in your 2 decades here, the focus to detail. The amazing focus to detail, your defensive line coach saying we have to have the best pad level in the nation to be Navy football. What does that mean when you have that as what you look at every day with these players and with your coaches, the importance that it means to Navy football, that focus to detail?
There's so many things that we do in our program that I know a lot of people don't do. Things in our weight room, the way we do things, the way we come on the field. I'd rather not talk about it, because there's stuff that, what we do in our program. But it's our only chance. We recognize that we have to be detailed in everything that we do. Not only helps you in life, but it helps you win football games. Being exact with your eyes, being exact with your hands. I mean, making a block like this to this could be the difference of making a block. If you're a D lineman, striking somebody with your hands like this or your hands tighter could be the difference of being able to lock out. I mean, there's so many intricate things where your hands are at, your placement, your eyes, how much your steps are. You know, at O-line, if you're taking an 8-inch step, it's too long. It's got to be 4 inches. You know what I mean? You got to roll your back knee. A lot of times, if you don't roll your back knee, I mean, the detail, if you go to any of the meetings, like yesterday I was at the linebacker meeting, I think if people would go and just listen and go to one of these meetings, you would think people are talking a different language. I mean, you're like, what are they talking about? You know what I mean? It's just all these different things and all these different keys and how it, things fluctuate and how things change. But it's our only chance, we have to have attention to detail. We talk about it all the time. We talk about touching the line. We have pictures, coming back to the line, you could be an inch away, it's not good enough. No, I'm not gonna, I was gonna bring an example. But anyways, you just gotta be, that's who we are. And we'll never change the attention to detail, the focus that's needed to work at this level. Just telling our guys, got 130 teams. Again, everybody's trying to work hard. Everybody's meeting. Everybody's lifting weights. Everybody has nutrition centers. They're all working hard. What are we going to do to separate us? And it's hard. To separate yourself is hard.
Graham?
Coach, Graham Knight from the Behind the Lines, the Academy Football Report. All right, what can you tell me about those adjustments? I'm just kidding. I know you don't want to talk about it. Hey, listen, you're coming up on your 25th silver anniversary. Congratulations. I love that your 23-year winning average is ahead of the 117-year Navy overall average. What I'm curious about is, I'm wondering if you're a baseball coach in hiding. Last year, you put Xavier Arline in the Army-Navy game, a freshman start. And I'm wondering if that wasn't really an investment in the next 3 years. And I guess my specific question is, what have you noticed about him this year as he comes out of what's really an incredible experience for a freshman?
Well, you normally don't want to, start a freshman who hasn't played all season that first game. We were struggling last year. I mean, that's the truth. We were trying to get a spark. We were struggling. Maybe some of us looked to the future, but it wasn't looking to the future. We were trying to win that game. I mean, there's, this game, you don't think about the next game. You win the game at hand, and we thought he gave us the best chance. But with that said, I've been impressed with his attention to detail. I think he's learned a lot from these guys, what it takes to win, how to work. I don't know if I should say this. He's a lacrosse player. Sometimes the lacrosse world and football worlds are different worlds. How you do things, some stuff is individual. How you go work out with your stick or whatever, and somebody hit against the wall. Football is all team-oriented. It's all team-oriented. You do stuff with other people. But I've been impressed with his maturity for a young man. I see what he does, and he's competing right now, and I think he looks forward to this competition that he's had for that position.
Phil, Bergman.
This is for the captains. Kind of touched on this earlier, but what's it going to be like excitement-wise and energy-wise to have full fans in the stands again this year, the march on, the Brigade of Midshipmen back, and just have a normal college football home game when you take on Marshall?
It'll be exciting. I think every football player in the country who played in an empty stadium last year can tell you that was not the most enjoyable experience. As a team, we say that football is the ultimate team sport, and the fans and the crowd are a part of our team. They're that 12th man, whether it be on offense or defense. So looking forward to that little bit of normalcy, and looking forward to supporting them and them supporting us. So.
Yeah, I think excitement's going to be at an all-time high. I know for me personally, we got the Brigade in the stadium one time last year against Temple, and it made a huge difference in the energy in the stadium, just having those 4,000 people there. So when there's 35,000 in Navy Marine Corps, it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't really realize how much or how big of a role the fans play in the energy level throughout the stadium until they're not there. As you see with BYU, you go out there and we don't put a touchdown, on the board. So moving forward with that, just having the fans back in the stadium, having the Brigade there, having people that you know are there to support you and see you win, see you triumph, it's going to be big for us. Like right now, we're working in silence. We're working by ourselves, no fans, nobody there. We've been doing that all summer, and that's what you do it for. So you can go out there on Saturday and put on a show for the people that paid to see you play.
Anyone else? Final chance. Keith.
This is for Coach. Coach, a ton of Maryland kids on the roster, 17, 18 kids, and Kevin and Diego mentioned Johnny Hodges and Jacob Busick and John Marshall, and these kids are contributing. You and I have this conversation before. I personally think Maryland football's gotten a lot better in the last 5, 10 years. Is this a reflection of that? You got a lot of kids, not just here, but really contributing.
Well, we've always felt like the DMV is a really talented area. It's kind of known for basketball, also a big lacrosse area, but it's a super talented area. And, you know, for us, we knew we had to do a better job here, and so put our best recruiter in here. So Ashley Ingram's in this area now, and so this guy's amazing, man. Everywhere he goes, he finds players. I mean, I really believe this. I mean, he's the greatest recruiter that I've ever been around. I mean, he's recruited some of the best football players here to the Naval Academy, but we put Ashley here in the DMV the last couple of years, and his work's already paying off. I mean, but we have to do better in this area, and we knew that. And so it was a really simple fix for me, just put our best recruiter here, and he's killing it.